Hi, and welcome to Chronically Determined. Hi, everybody. This is Anita with Chronically Determined, and I wanted to share with you a particularly good Thanksgiving that I had when I was 17 years old. I had recently moved to San Francisco by myself. I was working, and renting a room for $400, which might date me a little bit, and I was alone for the first time on Thanksgiving, which was really lonely for me. And I went to Starbucks. I didn't really have that much money. I had put money away, about $20, for Thanksgiving dinner for myself. I was pretty much living off of Top Ramen at the time, and I was really sad because I had been seeing all these people walking in and out together, and I was just totally alone. And I was crying in the window, and I saw this man go by. He looked at me for a second, and he just walked by. I didn't think anything of it. And he walked by in the opposite direction past me again. And I just kind of, okay, maybe he's lost. You know, he was wearing shorts and like a t-shirt, and so I kind of already knew that he wasn't from there because it was pretty cold. It gets pretty cold in November in San Francisco. And anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm kind of crying to myself, and and then he comes back and he's holding a flower. He walks in, and in an Australian accent, he says to me, "Here, this is for you." And he just, before I can say anything else, he just walks out, and I've never seen him again. So that was one part of that day, and that made me smile. That made me really happy. That was wonderful. And then, so I go about my day, and I'm just kind of walking around the city because it was wonderfully quiet. It was full of people going to and from places, but nothing very fast-paced like it usually is. It wasn't very busy. All the stores were pretty much closed, and there was nothing really going on. So I was just kind of walking around, and then I decided, it was about 3 o'clock or so, I decided, okay, I'm getting kind of hungry. So I go to the Castro for dinner, and I go over there because I was, I thought, okay, well, I'm alone. There must be some other people alone too. So I go over there, and there's this restaurant called Home. That was the name of the restaurant, Home. And I decided, well, it must be fate. I should eat here for dinner. So I go to the bank across the street. I go to the ATM, and I put my card in to check my bank account, and just to make sure I had that 20 still in there. So I go in, and I do have that 20 in there. So I go to the restaurant, and I sat next to this wonderful English couple. They were there on vacation, and I was just telling them about Thanksgiving and, all the traditional foods and everything. And so it was nice. It was, we're all kind of, it wasn't a family style dinner, but we were sitting close enough that I could have a nice conversation with them. And I ordered a Thanksgiving dinner, and my total bill came to $18, so I had enough money to pay it. And I go to look for my card, and it's not there. So I start freaking out. I didn't understand. I just had it, and then I realized I left it in the ATM. And I start crying again because I didn't know what they were going to do to me. I didn't know if they were going to call the cops or anything like that. So the waitress comes over and I start begging her. I start telling her I'll wash the dishes, I'll do whatever. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad, and just I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. And I said, can I go check the ATM? And she said, yeah, I guess so. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? So I go check the ATM, and of course my card's not there. So I go back to the restaurant and I tell her, I'm so sorry, it's not there. And she said, okay, well, the restaurant doesn't take checks, but can you write me a check? And I said, yeah, I'll write you a check. So I wrote her a check and for the amount, and she never cashed it. She never cashed the check for my food. And I was blown away. That was just a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And although that day seemed really lonely at the time, looking back at it, it was filled with people that, I mean, of course I didn't know them, but it was filled with people that were just so wonderful and just so kind. And so even though sometimes our holidays don't always live up to the expectations that we have for them, or we feel a little lonely, it doesn't, in hindsight, sometimes it doesn't always appear to be as bad as we think they are. I mean, at that time, even at the end of that day, I still felt really sad and I still felt really lonely. But again, looking back, it doesn't feel like that was the worst Thanksgiving I ever had. In fact, that is my favorite Thanksgiving, because it really showed to me the kindness of people, the kindness of strangers, and why I still really hold that down to their core, people are ultimately good. And it really is our experiences that shape who we are. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and in case, you're having some holiday blues coming up, and tell you that I understand. I've spent a lot of holidays alone, and even though you're alone this year, there's a lot of good things that you could do. You could give out food to the homeless. You could spend some time at your senior center. You could do all those things, because there's a lot of people that are spending it alone. Any holiday, in fact. And if you're spending it with them, then neither of you are alone. So, anyway, again, this is Anita signing off for Chronically Determined, with the best love and the best intentions.